Well, their culture is very religious. Very, very religious. If I'm not mistaken, Guatemala has more churches per capita than any other place in the world. Don't quote me on that, but I've heard that said before. Because there's churches everywhere. You'll have a Catholic church in the center of basically every town, because the Spanish helped found and establish so many towns there that they forced the Catholic churches to be the center. And then, like, not far at all from that Catholic church, you'll have an evangelical church, and then next to that evangelical church, you'll have another one from a different shepherd. What do you call that? Pastor. Well, that's pretty much really common. You'll find churches all over the place. They're really religious. You can talk about God to basically anybody, and it's normal. Does that make sense? Like, it's totally normal to just go around talking about God with people all the time, because even in their daily speech, they talk about God. They will say, for example, primero Dios, which means God first. Like, if you ask them, are you guys going to go to the soccer game tonight? They'll be like, primero Dios, God first, we're there, man. They'll just constantly be thinking about God. Like, if you talk about a blessing, they'll be like, wow, God is so great, isn't he? They just all have that awesome faith. I loved that about them. You could be friendly and talk about God and relate it to the restoration of the gospel with anybody all the time. They're really hardworking people, insanely hardworking. So to give you one image of that, to get firewood to cook your food with a lot of the time for the not as well-to-do families, they would go walk down a mountain or into a canyon or into the forest and chop up firewood with a machete, stack it all up, put it in a bundle, and then that bundle goes on their back, and then, like, attached to that bundle you have a rope that goes on their forehead. So they carry like 100 pounds worth of wood on their forehead. It is insane. They're very hardworking. They're, like I said, very religious. They're very loving. They love America. Almost like 99% of Guatemalan people love Americans, and they think Americans are really nice and that we're very giving, because they see a lot of charity things being sent. I see tons of clothes being sent from the United States. Like, almost everything they're wearing, if it's not made in Guatemala, like what I was telling you about the corte, then it's probably from the United States. On men, women, children, everybody. So they're very grateful for that. And they're just wonderful, wonderful people. I always thought of them as, personally, I think that they're very special, chosen people, and they showed it all the time as they accepted the gospel and lived it and just exercised so much faith in Christ. So the more love you can develop for them and the more they can feel it, the more you'll be able to help them. So just learn to notice all these good things like I've been mentioning about them, and you're going to have a great time. They're going to love you, you're going to love them, and you'll see a lot of miracles.